Yo, yo, what's up? Episode 159. Let's drink some Coca-Cola. Oh yeah, analog media is funny. You gotta be laughing. Come on in, folks. Cheers. Pepsi? I think Florida is Pepsi, right? A lot of Pepsi in certain areas. Come on in. Almost. Analog. Hi, Mama. Come on in. Come on in. Bam. Straight into opera. Okay. Anywho, I had a little technical problem there. I do use analog media live. I'm using CDs and records. I'm that way. I prefer that, but as you can see, there's trouble. What's up? I see people jumping in. We're going to have a good one tonight. I see, we got Charlemagne, Bruja, Florida, Eric, Dionisio, the Pandemonious, Camillo, Mama. What's up, Mama? Cheers, Mama. I'll ring you after the show. Who else is in here? Ryan, Jason. I think my sister's in here. Who else? Not sure. All right, we got a big group really quick in here. Bam! Mark the Barbarian, Eric, who else? Come on in! We got a fun show. I got some reading I want to do. I'm going to read. And I have a subject that's a little loose. As you know, the loose ones are the ones we have fun on. And if you're new, please hit the like and subscribe. It's the least you can do. And the Sherman, what's up, buddy? If you're new, be known that this is a live show, and there's a chat. And if you are, if you're watching a rerun, which some of you do, I recommend looking at the chat because people do say some brilliant things in this show, which is why I do it. Matthew the Metalhead, yo, what's up, brother? Are you a Manowar fan? Do you appreciate all men playing on 10? First like, thank you. Yeah, hit that damn like and subscribe. If you are the donating type, hallelujah, bada bing, bada boom. I take donations. There is a link below. Also, there's a few other links below, like my Wacky Mart and things like that. Check them out. It keeps me rolling. What else did I put here? Oh, Godzilla was nominated for an Academy Award. I wish it was Best Script or Best Actor or Best in Show, basically. But they got special effects. Which is funny because they only spent $15 million on the movie. So to me, that's a big middle finger to Hollywood. So cool. Godzilla deserves it. I am getting ready to do a bunch of game-oriented live shows. The show that I do live here on this channel, and if my sound is weird, please tell me. The sound that I do, or the show that I do on this live channel for games is Boardgasm. And I'm getting ready to do live gameplay of the new dungeon Degenerates. All the new stuff coming out, the new missions. So if you're ever interested in learning how to play the game, I have some videos on it. Or you can join in to the live game. I can't wait to do it live because I will let the audience decide some of the moves that happen. So I think it's going to be fun. You are a Manowar fan. Cool. Because there are, in the metal world, there are those that like Manowar, and there are those that hate Manowar. I love Manowar. I would say Manowar and King Diamond are my two faves for the metal scene. And then we've got Immortal, Deicide, and who else comes to mind? Guar. Those are the ones right away. What else? We were talking about, I saw in the chat, people talking about favorite monster. I guess mine would be Godzilla and vampires. Dracula. That's pretty simple. I have some favorite obscure monsters. Like, I love the Japanese King Kong. I like, Zeido Kashao. Coffin Joe. I gotta do a show on Zeido Kashao. All shall fall by a mortal. Love it. The video's great. Yes. Oh, yes. He certainly is. He is a friend. He's a friend of the family. Yeah. So, anything else new? Questions? Godzilla is nuke head god. I like that. That's a kind of a cool way to phrase it. Well, vampires, my sister jumps in there. Yes, vampires are my favorite, I would say. There's a sexy quality to them, right? There's a romantic kind of a vibe. Yeah. Man, my hair looks crazy. Super gray today. Look at that. I've got these wisps. My hair went from black to gray pretty quick. What else? Oh, if you're new and I don't know you, say hi in the chat. Say, yo, what's up? I'm a friend of the family. I'm your neighbor. Whatever. Just say hi. If it's just there's so many people in here, I don't know who you are. I did not get to watch the film either. I couldn't get it to work on my Roku. Therefore, I didn't get to see it. I missed it. Damn. Sorry. I wanted to see it. Eventually, I'll see it. Obviously. I hear it's good. I will see it and then tell you. What else? Before we get into the meat, I had a few things. Well, should we get into meat? I mean, what else did I have to say? Because tonight is a wild card of sorts, and I don't have a specific direction of where tonight's going. But I have a little bit of a... yes, I have a question. Please, what Dracula beam... What's a beam stalker book? What does that mean? You gotta explain that, and I'll answer. Should I buy for an old English castle feeling? Oh, Bram Stoker book. Well, I would say Dracula, the first book. Yeah. I've read the first, his book Dracula. It's fantastic. I like the way the story's told. It's told through letters and journal entries and these kind of pieced together things to tell the story. And I love it. Yeah, I'm a fan. I think it's a good story. I've never read Lair of the White Worm. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, Beamstalker? What the hell is a Beamstalker? Bram Stoker. Oh, a little bit of trivia. There is an A&E biography. Remember, A&E biography. If you ever watched the Bram Stoker A&E biography, I am on it. I'm one of those panel talking heads. It's very weird. It's weird. One day I noticed my website spiked, and it was the day they showed it. I was like, oh, Peter Benedetti, long time no see, brother. How are you? Realm of Satan was a beautiful film, visually and otherwise. Wow. Okay. Well, Peter Benedetti's one of my favorite artists, and he's in here now. And for him to say it was beautiful visually, that's pretty cool. I trust his judgment. I really couldn't. I tried. They made it hard. I have Roku TV and I still couldn't watch it. So it goes. I'm not a media guy anymore. I don't keep up. I try. I want to try a little bit. Well, Peter, cheers. Glad you're in the room. I saw some of your new art recently, and I'm always, my mind is blown. My dream is to one day own one of your artworks. So at some point when I'm financially flying, I'm going to buy one of your big fat pieces of art and put it in here somewhere. I don't know where, but it will go somewhere. Yeah, come on in. We've had some good shows. Yeah, Peter, come on in. Enjoy. I have a juicy subject tonight. I tapped my toes into a new philosopher that spawned my imagination to run wild for a 24-hour period. But it ultimately brought me back to some of my favorite philosophies and philosophers, which is what tonight is, and it's loose. I'm still learning here. I bought sales a lot a couple of weeks ago. I don't know what that means. I bought sales. Like a sailboat sale? Oh yeah, autocorrect is I might shut off my autocorrect on everything because it's not only guessing what I'm going to say. Okay, here's an example. I've had it guess what I'm going to say, and I'm not going to say that, but I end up choosing it. So that means the AI is deciding the words I would use that I would not normally use, but because of convenience, I'm hitting the button. Please, let me say that again. It's very important. When I'm typing, autocorrect will suggest a word that I never would use, but because it's convenient to hit the button, I choose it. So is it possible then for AI to shape my language and change its meaning without me even realizing it? The answer is yes. Okay. Sorry for that rant. Oh, how would I define philosophy? I like that. First thing that comes to my mind is asking questions about our reality. That's all. Having a question about the nature of reality and asking it. That's philosophy. The love of it. I mean, the actual word definition, philosophy, love of knowledge, love of learning about the way the world works, which is the father of science. Yeah. Does that make, I guess that's it. I'm curious if anybody has a second, find the dictionary definition and drop it in. If it's short, you don't have to put a long one. I'm curious how the dictionary, the Webster one, defines philosophy. But yeah, I was always curious of philosophy as a thing. And then when I put my feet in it, I fell deep. Calm down, Cardone, says Jim. What's up, Jim? How are you? But Jim, you see my point? You're typing and the robot's giving you the suggestion and you go, it's easy, click, and then you keep moving. Now the robot's changing my language. I don't like it. I think we need to actively decide, some of us, that we're not going to use AI. What's up, brother? So that's how I would define it. Yes, Charlemagne. I'm glad you asked that. It's good to say what it is, how I look at it. I'm not looking for the truth. I don't necessarily think of that. Yeah. Did you add some rum to the Coke? No. I believe it or not, I don't drink, and I have not had any alcohol in my system for coming up on 30 years. This is my 20th no booze. I do, however, like me a green. I have one ready to roll. Here we go. Camillo in the house. Defining. Thank you, Evil Live 3. Evil Live. Great record. I like this shirt too. I wish I bought 2 of them. All right, Camillo's going to drop in the comments the definition of philosophy. I'm curious. The dictionary definition. I have a couple of essays I'm going to read today too. In a minute. We're going to start soon. I think we're going to get into the subject. All right, episode. Oh, here we go. Magister Campbell. What's up, brother? How are you? Cheers. Long time no see. We got to party one of these days. I do miss you. Yes, indeed. Okay. tonight's episode, and it's funny, I was sitting here getting ready to go, and I was like, I feel like I'm forgetting something, and I did. My title card that I click on. I didn't upload it. So tonight's episode is 159, and oh wait, hold on. Oh, I love this. Oh, before I get to this, I'm going to read the comments. Maybe mindful about using AI instead of using it always. Use it when you need assistance. I would say that's what a lot of people are going to do. I mean, I do Google searches. That's not technically AI yet. But I don't know, like asking it to write something I need to write. You know, a lot of people are using it for writing. And I don't like to do that. But case in point, you're right. Yeah, it's going to have to be use it less. Baked, not fried. What's baked? Okay. Oh, here we go. The study of the fundamental nature of knowledge, reality, and existence. Oh, so so knowledge, meaning how do we know what we know? Reality, it would be an objective truth of sorts, I guess. And existence, what it is to exist. Yeah, I mean, these are all the nature of reality. That's it. Yeah. Okay. Pretty cool. Well, tonight's episode is called Art Brain, Pain, and Wildcard Fun. And the Wildcard Fun means I don't have a goal in sight for tonight. I'm not here to I love it, Sherman. If anybody knows Rick Sherman's quotes, I'm curious. Philosophy is talk on a cereal box, and religion is a smile on a anybody. There's a delay. I'll wait. So yeah, tonight, Art, Brain, and Pain. I love it. Okay. Here we go. So, before I read the things I set out to read, which I think you're going to find very entertaining, I wanted to talk about, I stumbled on a philosopher that I knew a lot about, but I never read them, and I never did the detail, and that is Immanuel Kant. Or Kant, as I believe how they would pronounce it. Oh, I love it. People are really going at it here. So, and the book I got was Grounding for the Metaphysics of Morals on a Supposed Right to Lie Because of Philanthropic Concerns. Boy, is that a mouthful. Boom. And right away, I come to what is the essence of Immanuel Kant in the first page right away. And I was already familiar with his work because of me dancing around. Boom! Yeah, Edie Brickell, you got it. I'm a fan of hers. I actually like her a lot. There's something about it. In my punk rock heavy metal formative years, for some reason, this hippie chick hit the nerve on something. Her singing, the style, I don't know what it is. I really liked their music. So, I had known Immanuel Kant because of Friedrich Nietzsche and all these other guys as the philosopher that figured out a way of using reason to moralize. And so here, I'm going to read you this. This is like his main kind of thing. Categorical imperative, as it's called. Always act in such a way that you can always will that the maximum of your action should become universal law. Okay, that's Immanuel Kant. So, whenever you're doing an action, if you take it to 11, is it good for everybody? It's very similar to Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius wrote, as soon as you go to do something, imagine is it good or not for humanity? If you have to pause, the answer might be yes, but you still might pause. You might go, if you're pausing, pause a little longer. That was Marcus Aurelius's, in his notes, something that he would do as his own exercise. Okay, so when I first read this about Immanuel Kant, that clearly written out, I felt personally, from my journey of a philosophy, studying it as a study and my understanding of it and how I've been kind of seeing reality, I saw holes in that right away. And yeah, and I'll get to those in a minute. So Immanuel Kant came up with two basic concepts, one of which makes a lot more sense to me than the other. And I'm going to do a very basic rundown of what I have come to the conclusions of what it is. And then I'm going to shoot some holes in it using some other people's philosophies and stuff. We're going to kind of tear it apart. And I'm very curious, because if somebody in here knows anything about this, please chime in. None of us are experts in here that I can think of. Every now and then, we'll get somebody that does know a little bit about one philosopher more than another. And so you can chime in, okay? So, Kant. The two things I noticed, this universalizability principle. Good Lord, universalizability. 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 What a word. Universalizability principle. And that is this: act only according to what maxim you can at the same time will that it should be universal law. To me, that smells like sour grapes all over the place. Oh yeah, here we go. Camillo's writing a lot of philosophy stuff in here, which you should look at. Definitions of philosophy. All right, so now, okay, so he came up with this concept that using reason, we can come to almost like an objective moral. I hear a lot of secular humanist atheists use this one, like the guy on Atheist Experience. The bald guy on Atheist Experience, whom I was a fan of for many years. Recently, I'm not such a fan of. I think he moralizes a bit. But here we go. Using reason. The second thing Kant came up with that I really had to pause on and think about, and then we're going to bring it into Friedrich Nietzsche pretty quick, is that Kant thought we can never know the thing in itself. Now, for anybody here, hey, you do. Oh, see, here you go. This is fascinating. Charlemagne says, here in Portugal, we learn about Kant in the 11th grade. So do they teach him as part of a philosophy course? How do they present him, as I'm curious? So here's one of the principles Kant came up with that I thought I had to chew on for a minute. And this is what brought me in a philosophy hole, a new one. He thought you can't know a thing in itself. A thing in itself is the true nature of something, like this cup. Like, well, what is it? It's a bunch of molecules. Is it an idea a god made that I'm programmed to make a cup? Like, what is a cup? What is the essence of a cup? What's the core value of a cup? And so Kant thought there's no way of knowing it, because every single thing that I'm thinking about anything in the world is because of my data processor, my senses. So I'm very limited into what my senses are telling me. How could I know the real truths of things? Because our senses totally lie, right? And there's a filter in my mind filtering that too, right? So how could you know? So when I first heard of this concept, My first reaction is in agreement. Yeah, okay, I get it. How could we know a thing in itself? Friedrich Nietzsche showed up and put a little wrench in the engine. He compared that to the same ideology of Plato's forms and the notion of an afterlife or a heaven or some grass is greener when you die kind of thing. And he called it the Hinterwelt. The Hinterwelt concept is there's a place that's better, there's a place that's unknowable that we can't touch. And it kind of devalues this life is kind of the thought behind it. And so then you go, so does that mean Nietzsche is saying that, like, well, what does he say? If Nietzsche claims that, I really think that is real, that our brain does, like, interpret everything. But then the Nietzsche objective part, the part that is objective in the Nietzsche thing, and I don't even know if that's the right word to use, is his will to power, permeating everything. And that is, I would say, the thing in itself for everything is will to power. Everything's trying to expand upon itself. That's it. Everything's trying to become a becoming of sorts. And it keeps doing it until it dies. And the other thing is entropy. So will to power and entropy to me have these like qualities that are kind of objective in that framework. So, dude, I went down a deep hole. And I want to read some stuff here about Kant. And then we're going to read some crazy, what's this say? Children of the Corn Collection. Kant. Some people think it's the beginning of Marxism. Some of his thinking because of his moral part. The moral part that he came up with, does the cup have a will to power, being inert? Oh, that's a good question. I guess the cup has a will to power to certain things, but not to me. My will is stronger than the cup's will. But maybe the cup's properties do. I would say probably, yeah. I'm not good at that one, but I'll bet there's a philosopher that can point it out. Interesting. Yeah, what is it? What is the will of an inanimate object? It does have something. It's an obstacle. It is some sort of obstacle. So, these are great questions. That question's not a stupid question. That is a really good one, actually. Yeah. This is why I like philosophy, because there's no real bad questions. You can kind of dig in. So, okay. So, yeah, was this the beginning of Marxism? The whole, like, there is a actual way to do things? Prone to corruption. Oh, secularism was popular. Okay. Authority of reason. Categorical imperative. Do unto others. Yes. Oh, here's something interesting. Oh, no, I just spilled. Paper towel. So, I just spilled, can you? Paper towel. I just had a spill. But at any rate, something I wanted to point out is the pursuit of happiness as a thing is kind of new. You know what I'm saying? Like no one talked about how important it is to be happy up until, recently. It was, you're serving the king, you're serving God, you're serving this. It was like that kind of stuff. It wasn't, are you happy? That didn't mean much. Those are kind of new ideals, I would say. And so in that, I think a lot of this grew. The pursuit of happiness was the Age of Enlightenment, which is Kant. Okay. I like this. I have a tactile pen. Yeah, I like those. Mankind's goal must be create something superior to itself. Well, I don't know if... For us to keep moving as a species, yes, we would have to achieve a new becoming, yes. But I don't know if we are getting to that. Thomas Jefferson coined that. Yes, yes. TJ was pretty enlightened. Yeah. So let's keep moving. So in the Kantian version of how does the mind work, Nietzsche pointed out that to him, Kant was saying, how does the mind work? By the faculties of the mind. Does that sound weird? Because it is. It's a circular argument. And so to Nietzsche, Kant sounds like he's really busy coming up with this mathematical reasoning look at morals and how they should kind of work. And if you look at it with a magnifying glass, it doesn't say much. Why is judgment of belief necessary? I wrote that down. I don't know why. Nietzsche thought, and I really like this because it puts it into perspective with basically everything. Think about this. Very serious. Each philosophy is nothing but a reflection of the personality of the person who came up with it. It's so brilliant, yet it sounds so dumb. It's the most simple, straight up description of what these philosophies are, because Nietzsche spends a lot of time criticizing everybody because they're biased. Everybody is. How can you not be, is what he's saying. This is like the argument when people go, hey man, people need to keep their religion out of their politics. How can you? If your religion is functioning and a part of you and making you believe and act in certain ways, how could it not? So in this thinking, everything's connected. I mean, so if you're a philosopher, you are biased. You have to be. How would you not be? You know? So it's interesting. So Kant had a destination. His philosophy was he had a goal in mind. And that is to almost save religion in a way through reason. And so immediately he loses credibility with a lot of scholars because you're like, dude, that's not how science works. If you're starting with the goal, you're going to get there. Morality based on duty. That's what his morality is. It's based on duty, not what you want. Which is weird because if you're doing duty, don't you want to be good by doing duty? Doesn't that still mean you're doing what you want? To me, there's a problem. So here's Nietzsche destroying the whole thing. Morality is based on duty. And Nietzsche goes, duty to what? To whom? And that right there to me, that ends it. I like this. You asked a priest why we have to believe in God in order to go to heaven, and he turned and walked away. Well, it's funny. Did you know that in Christianity, the unforgivable sin, it actually says it's the one sin you cannot be forgiven for. So if anybody here wants to for sure damn themselves to hell, you can do it right now. And if you're a Christian watching, you can verify this. It says it very clearly. It says blaspheming the Holy Spirit that's it. You don't get second chance on that. God does not even forgive that one. I'm not kidding. So if I say I think the Holy Spirit is a cheese doodle, I just damned myself to hell. And I thought it's interesting because the thinking behind that as a rule in Christianity reminds me a lot of modern day censorship, where mentioning that the flu was man-made got you in trouble, even though it was true. It's that's my episode last week. Bad information that gets you in trouble. To me, that's what a little bit of this is. Okay. So Nietzsche, saying that everybody's philosophies are based on their personality types, basically. He's like, okay, so him wanting to have this morality based on duty, what does this say about Immanuel Kant? You know, what's this saying about him as a person? Um, Schopenhauer's morality is from compassion. That's where he thought it was, an innate sense of empathy. And that's where we get our morals from. That's what Schopenhauer thought. Nietzsche didn't think that. Kant set out a way to justify majestic moral edifices. Yeah. Okay, so the main arguments Nietzsche presented were Kant has circle arguments, and morals are personal, and there's prejudices in that, and that the Kantian philosophy is a zero philosophy. It doesn't go anywhere. So I don't know if anybody's watching this that's a Kant person. I'm curious. I even looked around a bit. I didn't find many people that were a fan of him. I mean, really. Nietzsche looked at it as a new version of Christianity. It's still preaching slave morality through this duty, this version of you have duty to something else. It's very interesting. So I'm going to read now a few things I really want to talk about. And that's the name of the episode tonight, is Art Brain is one of them. And I could never explain this to somebody, because sometimes I think artists get called lazy. Okay? I've heard it. I know this. Lazy artists that sit around and they kind of screw around, and they don't make a lot of money. They don't want to work real jobs. And I've heard people on one side making fun of that, right? And I've seen the artist types that really are lazy kind of using it as a shield of sorts. Like, oh, people think artists are lazy. Well, it's like, no, some of them are lazy. But there's a very specific type of, quote, lazy that I didn't know how to describe. And I found something that, praise the cheese doodle. And I found something I want to read that I think you're going to like. This is Gay Science, or also known as The Joyful Wisdom, depending on which version you have, by Friedrich Nietzsche. And it is aphorism 42. And in this book, the aphorisms haven't been following a theme. Sometimes he themes them, each chapter. This one, they're kind of bouncing around. You're going to love this, I promise. Kant was a philosopher, so morality is intellectual and superior. Yes, tautological convincer. Yeah, that's how it's described. Love it. Yes. Interesting. Okay, so check this out. 42. It's called Work and Ennui. And ennui is my version of ennui. It basically means like a nervous boredom. I guess you could put the word like an existentialistic nausea, kind of, where you're just like, ugh, right? Like, I don't know what to be doing. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing right now, kind of a thing. That's it. It means I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to be doing right now. It doesn't mean I'm bored. It's like I'm supposed to be doing something and I don't really quite know what it is, okay? Oh yeah, this is good. All right. Work and ennui. I'm going to read it. In respect to seeking work for the sake of the pay, almost all men are alike at present in civilized countries. To all of them, work is a means and not itself the end. On which account, they are not very select in the choice of the work, provided it yields an abundant profit. But still, there are rarer men who would rather perish than work without delight in their labor. The fastidious people, difficult to satisfy, whose object is not served by an abundance of profit, unless the work itself be the reward of all rewards. Artists and contemplative men of all kinds belong to this rare species of human beings. And also the idlers who spend their life hunting and traveling, or in love affairs and adventures. They all seek toil and trouble insofar as these are associated with pleasure, and that they want the severest and the hardest labor if it be necessary. In other respects, however, they have a resolute indolence, even should impoverished, dishonor, and danger to health and life be associated therewithin. They are not so much afraid of ennui as of labor without pleasure. Indeed, they require much ennui if their work is to succeed with them. For the thinker, for all inventive spirits, ennui is the unpleasant calm of the soul which precedes the happy voyage. And the dancing breezes, he must endure it. He must await the effect it has on him. It is precisely this which lesser natures cannot all experience. It is common to scare away ennui in every way, just as it is common to labor without pleasure. Now, this is interesting here. It perhaps distinguishes the Asiatics above the Europeans, as they are capable of longer and profounder repose. Even their narcotics operate slowly and require patience, in contrast to the obnoxious suddenness of the European poison, alcohol. I love that he ends with that. He loves by giving the Asians a prop on their focus and their contemplative nature, their meditative states. Asian culture philosophically got popular because of people like Schopenhauer and Nietzsche, for that matter. So that little essay blows my mind. He's talking about the type of boredom that an artist has. People are confused at what it is. It's almost necessary. And I actually, I force myself to do these they're almost an exercise where you force yourself to sit in a chair with a marker and a blank book. And you're just like, I've told you this a million times. I have a friend who's a life coach that teaches that. It's a principle. You have to schedule boredom sessions, where you sit and just kind of let things come to your mind. Anyway, that is add on top of that, somebody not wanting to sacrifice time, thought, lifestyle, energy on doing a task that enables them to do the other task. They'd rather be homeless and do the other task. It doesn't work that way. I definitely fit into this category. And that's the best description I've ever seen. I hope you enjoyed that. If anybody has thoughts on it, please throw it in there. It also in there implies that you have to love your work. I mean, I've had jobs that were means to get to a better end. Obviously, I've done a million jobs. We all have. I will say anytime I've had to do a job that is maybe out of my pleasure zone, or I just don't want to do it, I ended up turning it into something. I ended up reframing it as something else to gain something. That's just me. It's my philosophy of fun. If I had to coin my philosophy that I've come up with, it's fun. How do I make it fun? Even if it's terrible, even if I'm at a funeral, how do I make it fun? I'm going to make a game out of this. I'm going to do something to create a positive experience so that I can think about it more and not run from it. I can ride it better. Here we go. Now, I know there's artists in here. I mean, really, am I alone in this? We all need screw off time. Artists need to screw off. This is where our subconscious leaks. Here we go. Sacrifice It's funny when someone puts a message on my thing, there's a heart that I can click on that blocks it, so I can't see it until it goes by a bit. Okay, now here's another one I wanted to read, which is a concept that I never thought of. I thought about it, but I never really thought about it. And here, sacrifice is pain. Ryan just wrote sacrifice is pain. Okay. I'm going to read something about pain right now because that's the other part to my show, and I think you're really going to like this. I like the end of this one a lot. This one's a little long, but not too long. Please listen, because I'm still trying to understand some of the nuance to this. This is very nuanced, so please try to listen. If there's something that doesn't make sense, you can pop in here. This is a learning experience for all of us. Check this out. It's called knowledge of distress. This is Gay Science, aphorism 48. This might be one of my favorite ones I've read so far in all of his works. Perhaps there is nothing by which men and periods are so much separated from one another as by the different degrees of knowledge of distress which they possess. Distress of the soul as well as of the body. Now, when he says soul, he doesn't mean soul. He means your psyche, your mental. Okay. He might be using the word soul to allude to something here, but let's keep moving. Distress of the soul as well as the body. With respect to the latter, owing to a lack of sufficient self-experience, we men of the present day, in spite of our deficiencies and infirmaries, are perhaps all of us blunderers and visionaries in comparison with the men of the age of fear, and the longest of all ages, when the individual had to protect himself against violence, and for that purpose had to be a man of violence himself. And at that time, a man went through a long schooling of corporal tortures and provisions, and even found in a certain kind of cruelty towards himself in a voluntarily use of pain, a necessary means for his preservation. At that time, a person trained his environment to the endurance of pain. And at that time, a person willingly inflicted pain and saw the most frightening things of this kind happen to others without having any other feeling than for his own security. As regards to the distress of the soul, mental distress, however, I now look at every man with respect to whether he knows it by experience or description, whether he still regards it as necessary to stimulate this knowledge, stimulate the knowledge of pain and suffering, perhaps as an indication of a more refined culture. So far, he's like, yo, dude, if we went back in time to caveman time, their relationship to actual physical pain is so different than what we would even consider pain. I did an episode on revenge, and if somebody bothers you in the jungle, wha-bang, the whacking their hand away and poking them, inflicting pain on that was a justice system, an ancient justice system. You had to. If you didn't do that, you were going to get it. And so, go to jail and see how it operates in jail. This is where those are the defaults of our humanity. And you can say, well, we need to evolve above that. Well, we haven't and aren't. We may never. It might be on hard wiring that we're never going to get over. So, he's saying here that our relationship to pain, the fact that we practiced it, it was a practice. You got good at it. Sounds like stoicism a little bit, actually. Okay. Let's keep going. I like this. You guys got to read the quotes underneath the thing. All right. It's an indication of a more refined culture when you actually, he's saying, stimulate your knowledge of pain. Okay. Or whether At the bottom of his heart, he does not at all believe in a great sorrows of souls. And at the naming of them, in his mind, a similar experience as at the naming of great corporal sufferings, such as toothaches and stomach aches. Here it is. It is thus, however, that it seems to be with most people at present. Owing to the universal inexperience of both kinds of pain, meaning mental and physical, and the comparative rarity of the spectacle of the sufferer, an important consequence results. People now hate pain far more than earlier man did. And calumniate it worse than ever. Indeed, people nowadays can hardly endure the thought of pain and make out of it an affair of conscience and reproach to collective existence. He's saying this is where collectivism is coming from. People, we evolved to run from pain. I say this all the time. But now that we have such a far relationship from really hard physical, mental anguish and physical pain, that it's actually making our collective natures stronger. Interesting. Very interesting. I find that really neat. Okay. The appearance of pessimistic philosophies, he's talking about Schopenhauer here, is not at all a sign of great and dreadful miseries. For these, he's saying, being pessimistic about philosophies isn't from everything being miserable. For these interrogative, God, that's another hard word, marks regarding the worth of life appear in periods when the refinement and the alleviation of existence already deem them unavoidable gnats of pain. Gnats of pain mean like little bee stings, not big ones. And would now like to make painful general ideas appear as suffering of the worst kind. He's talking about what we're saying now, where the whole hate speech hurts people. The whole words hurt people, that's what he's referring to. The reason why words hurt people now is he's giving you the answer why. We have no relationship to pain anymore. We actually run to the hills from it. And he's saying we're defining what's painful now on some weird grounds. There might be indeed, now here's my favorite part. Here's where it gets really neat. There might be indeed a remedy for pessimistic philosophies and the excessive sensibility, which seems to me the real distress of the present. But perhaps this remedy already sounds too cruel and would itself be reckoned among the symptoms owing to which people at present conclude that existence is something evil. So he's agreeing with them. Yeah, existence is evil. Great. And he says, well, exclamation point, the remedy for distress is distress. He's saying, mess it up. He's saying, I know you think that's the problem, but I'm saying it's the solution. Nietzsche was a really great poet. He is definitely my favorite writer, and that right there is one of my favorite little things he's written. I will be reading that over and over again for the rest of my life for fun. I think it's fun. I think he points out he's a sociologist in that one. I mean, really, he's showing you why people are super sensitive, and this is 120 some years ago. You can apply this to even, if he was alive today, he's right now breakdancing in his grave. Wherever he's buried, he is doing flips of the state of affairs, of how sensitive people have become. People demanding respect where they don't, I don't even know what it means. They're demanding respect. I'm like, who says whom? Why do I have to respect you? According to what laws? No. Not at all. That doesn't make any sense to me. Does it make sense to you? Wow. Anybody in there have anything to say about that stuff? Did it make sense? It's a heady subject. The two things to me that pop out. The first essay about the artist stuff to me is great, but this second one to me is really, really interesting. It makes me think about myself, and how my relationship to pain. I wouldn't want to literally shoot myself in the foot so I can go to the hospital. Suffering should be used to fuel your creativity. Well, it does. Look at art. That's what most art is. It's either lust or pain. It's one or the other. What is it? Sex and violence sell. That's you know, they're all kind of a common theme. You know, I mean, artistically, that's a theme that I think has been around since the dawn of time. And no matter how evolved people think we've become, they're still very common themes. In art, literature, film, look at how many... What are the plots to most movies? Nietzsche called Schopenhauer a bitch and Kant a dog. Basically, maybe. Well, Schopenhauer... I mean, he's like, yo, he was miserable and he didn't have a solution to his pessimism. He could have a solution, like Nietzsche's solution was to party on Wayne, be an artist, revel in it. And Kant, it seems, his criticism of Kant is very straight up. It's like, dude, he's a Christian. This is my argument to the modern atheist movement. They are also Christians to me. They're following the same formats. They just don't believe in a deity, but they might as well. The love of power is the demon of men. Oh, who said that? The love of power is the demon of men. You mean Nietzsche said that? Well, I think Nietzsche thought to pursue power is better than to pursue happiness. That's Nietzsche. Pursue power, because in power, you will discover what your happinesses are. And power doesn't mean I need to be in charge of everybody. This is why people misinterpret Nietzsche. Oh, what do you mean I don't need to be powerful? It sounds like an asshole philosophy. It's like, no. Be powerful in what you are. You are. If you're a ballet dancer, be the best one you can be. That is someone going for power over money. That's what he means by it, which is why I like his stuff so much. Like advocating for resilience and truth. Well, I don't know about that. Resilience, maybe. Truth, I have a weird relationship with that word truth in this part of my life. I don't use that word too often. I do use it occasionally because it is kind of a thing in our language and it means something, but as for like universal truths, the will to power to me might be the only one, and it's a really simple one, that, you know, things are always expanding that I can ascribe to. Or in this reality, entropy is a direction. To me, those are the only truths I might say yes to. Other than that, my brain is interpreting, like the Kant version. I'll give him that. I do agree with him. I have a filter. But I can see why Nietzsche thought that was a bad way to kind of frame things. Because now, if that's true, why bother? You know? Especially if there's a heaven. If heaven's so great as they say, really, I mean, all right, I believe in God, Jesus is great, I'm sorry, I'll forgive my sins, let's get to heaven, let's get on with it. I don't get it. I don't, that concept as making me have a better day does not do it for me. What do I think about Ayn Rand's ideas regarding selfishness? I think they're pretty darn good. Mostly. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think again, when you say it like that, it sounds bad. All of these things that I think are laws of the jungle sound bad. They don't sound bad to me. They sound bad to certain people. And the reason they do is because they're different values. If you're coming from a slave value, then some values sound bad. And if you're coming from this other value, Nietzsche had the master value, the slave value. I don't like those words too much, but That's what they're called. You have a different way of seeing. You'll never see the other side of that. So the idea of selfishness, I think, is a good idea. It means you got to take care of your own thing first before you can take care of others. You know, when I meet martyrs, the types that are selfless and there to take care of the world, they're usually kind of selfish pigs, actually. The most selfless people I see are actually very selfish a lot of the times. That's what I see. They've sacrificed themselves as a will to power. Just like somebody that says they're studying philosophy because it's a noble, they think it's better than religion. Everybody's looking for a power. So whatever it is, that's what it is. Nietzsche's main philosophy really, well, existentialism is the idea that there's no point to this existence. That's what that means. And he was one of the existentialists. I would say earlier, I mean, he's the Nietzsche, he comes from the Schopenhauer time period, you know, that time. The newer guys from the 50s and the 60s, they had different solutions to existentialism maybe, but they're all of the same team. There's no point. There's no point. And if there is a point, how would you even know what it is? I mean, I hear about people saying what the points are, but how would I even know? You know? Hypocritical self-deceit. Yes, I stand behind that a lot. Here we go. People need to be selfish and to think about others. Have to go halfway with people if you want to hang out more. Yes, but through selfish nature, meaning making sure you're correct and on you're happy and healthy, it enables you to participate in the group on that and bring something to the table. And so this is where the idea of man being selfish to me is very important. And don't forget, every action we do creates a dopamine blast. When someone gives a homeless guy money, they're like, I'm not selfish. Well, you are. You just gave yourself dopamine blast. Did you actually help the guy? Well, I don't know. I gave him $1. Yeah, he wants $1. It needs help. Yeah, but what if I told you, or do you know that, all right, he's going to use that to buy drugs. I know, but it's selfish. To me, that's selfish. So you could claim that every action that we do is basically selfish and that Ayn Rand was just pointing it out. But I do like a lot of her stuff. I think that Ayn Rand, the part that I disagree with her is she did think there was a better way of doing certain things. That's okay. I try to stay away from that a bit. That's just me. And she had kind of like, it looked like she was packaging it a certain way. That's where I kind of bounce out. But yeah, it's sad that people don't take her as seriously as I think they should. I was recommended the book Anthem. I highly recommend it. Anybody watching right now, you want to read a really fast book, Ayn Rand, Anthem. It's easy. It's a science fiction story. It's cool. It's exciting. And it's literally speaking about what we're experiencing right now with our reality. It's about in the future that the word we is illegal. Or I is illegal. We is how we refer to all of us. There's no more I. So, Matthew McConaughey said, when you help yourself, you help more than yourself. Yes! That's an excellent way to frame it. Yeah, when you help yourself and you make yourself better, you're actually, wherever you live, you just made it better. You know? If I can become great at whatever my skills are, I make my town better, don't I? Now my town has a great whatever, right? It's for everybody. If you knew the point, why break the secret? I don't know what that's referring to. But I like that Matthew McConaughey quote. McConaughey. How do you pronounce his name? Her fixation with skyscrapers shuns architecture like palaces and castles. I don't know what that's referring to. I still haven't read The Fountainhead or Atlas Shrugged. I will. I think I would enjoy them a lot. So they're on my list. I will read them. Yeah, I mean, she has an amazing story. You know, here's a little nugget of information. I own two philosophy dictionaries. One's Oxford and I forget which. They're both like major books, big dictionaries for philosophy students. I believe it's the Oxford one. I always look up to see if Ayn Rand's in there because she's a philosopher, right? I mean, she wrote best-selling books. Some of them don't even include her. Well, in the Oxford one, it says that Ayn Rand, and I'm like, oh, it has an entry. It says, this so-called philosopher. That's literally how it says it. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, this is a philosophy dictionary, and that's how there's Nietzsche going, yeah, see, they have prejudice without them trying. Fallon, what's up? Harrison Berger by Vonnegut. I have never read that, but I've heard it's good. But yeah, so I don't know where any of this is going. It's a big hole. It's a big loop. And I have no answers. I have lots of questions. Wow. You did read Shrugged. Pseudo selfless. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't read it, Fallon. I'm dying to read it. I really liked Anthem. I was like, I was blown away, quite frankly. I didn't think it was going to be that good. I was a little like ready for it to be kind of whatever, and I was wrong. It's pretty damn good. Yeah, a lot of people hate her. Most people that don't like Ayn Rand, when I push them on why, they don't have a good answer. It's almost like they heard she was bad. How many things are like that in our world? How many things that when people have a negative reaction to it, it's coming from somebody else's interpretation. And it was framed by someone else and presented to you. I'll bet almost everything you like comes under that dish. Or dislike, I should say. Or like. Yeah. Yes. This is interesting. This is a great chat, folks. I love it. I do need to read these Ayn Rands and catch up, and she's pretty easy to read. It's not meat that heavy. I will say Kant, his book is easy to read, but it's very math-ish in its logic, the way it's mapped out. I have a copy that somebody else had, so I'm going through with their highlights, and I'm adding my own. But I will say that I'm not a fan of his philosophy. I do have problems with it. I can't come up with a moral that's good for everybody. I can't do it. Every religion claims to have that. Every religion claims you don't need anything else. The Muslims say it. The Christians say it. The Jewish say it. The Buddhists say it. Everybody. They all say it. You don't need anything else. My Bible, my book. How do I get my hands on a hard copy of Anton LaVey's Satanic Bible? eBay. And set it to watch. And keep looking. And there's two versions of the hard copy. There's the new one that's 2 books in 1. And there's the old ones. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still asking questions. Wow, what a show tonight. Fallon, go back and watch some of it. I read some essays that blew my mind. That made me put down my book and, clap up loud and say, wow, that is some cool writing and some great observations. The thing about these essays or aphorisms is they stimulate my view for the day. So I'll read something, and then for the rest of the day, I'll be bouncing the ideas off of my surroundings, whether it be just me in the shower thinking about it or writing, or if I see a friend and I'll mention something. That's it. The 2 in 1 is like $800 to $1,000. What is that referring to? I don't know what you're referring to. Kant. Ah, okay, what's this? Kant, because he argued against consequentialism. Um, that I don't know about. That I don't know about. Oh, the 2-in-1 is like 800. Is it really? That's how much that book is worth? Wow, glad I have a few copies. Holy moly. It is worth a lot, yeah. So, on that note, yeah, I had a great time. These are the kind of shows that, I was saying, the idea of philosophy that's fun for me, the fun part, is the bouncing it off of friends, family. You just got to be careful. Some people hate this stuff. They don't like to spin ideas. And that's fine. It's not for everybody. We have sports. We have other things that we can all talk about. And, if you have a philosophy buddy, cherish them. Really. A lot of philosophers wrote about that, that you need to find a buddy, someone to share with. I mean, what's funny is Seneca, when you read the majority of his work, it was him having this philosophy chat with his buddy. And that's what we get to read. How lucky that wasn't all thrown in the garbage. It's kind of shocking. Same with Marcus Aurelius. We're reading his journal. By God, he might be pretty mortified if he knew. Yeah, they should read. Everybody should read more. Really. We all need to turn our TVs off. Stop with the AI and get out your analog. If I'd be willing to say, wow, okay, well, thank you for the offer. Maybe one day I will. I do have some things I'm trying to move. I've made some piles of things that, like, I might sell, and there is an occult section, so. Yeah, I'll keep it in mind. But yeah, I have a few copies. I wish I bought 10 copies. Yeah, I've heard it's hard to get. It is kind of a holy grail book. Some of these books are rare. Wow, what a night. Thank you, everybody. Listen, if you're new, hit that like and subscribe. It's the least thing you can do. If you're the donating weirdo, thank God. Some people donate, some people don't. You don't have to. I don't care. I want people to share the show. That's it. Tell your friends, come and visit, and we have that. My numbers are going up slowly. My watch hours have gone up, and it's because of everybody in here. Thank you to everybody that buys stuff on my Wacky Mart. It's moving. I've been selling stuff. Thank you. Keep your eyes on my Instagram. I'm posting when I sold stuff. One just sold for $1,000 on eBay. Good Lord. That is shocking, quite frankly. I did not know it went for that much. Well, that's good to know. Very good to know. Wow, $706. Damn, that's a lot. I mean, it's a rare book. It's not going to get cheaper. I doubt. Even if they repress it, these kind of books hold value. They do. We're bibliophiles, the people in here. We like books. We're book weirdos. I'll bet more than half the people watching smell their books watching right now. How many people smell their books? I'm one of them. Thank you, Jim. Love you too, brother. Yes, sis, rock and roll. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to bounce out. I have this large marijuana cigarette right here, and I am a magician, and I'm going to make it disappear in a puff of smoke, and I'm very good at it. So, Fallon, thanks for jumping in. I can't wait. I got to come up and visit. I'm going to make a visit in the next month, Fallon, up your way. I promise. I do. Let's all go out. We need a gathering. I want to hear stories about Sundance. There are Sundance Film Festival movie stars in the chat right now, folks. Yes. See? Peter Benedetti, one of my favorite artists in the world. I smell all my books. Yes, I knew you did. I would have bet money on it, my friend. It is a stogie of green goodness, my friend. Thank you very much. All right, I'm going to take us out. Oh, you have a brand new copy. I'm going to play a video to take us out to. And there's my Wacky Mart. Hi. Okay, hold on. Oh, Hegel. You know, I know about him. I've never read him. But yes, I will eventually jump on that one. I'm trying to get through all of them. Let's do a video of... Oh, let's see. All right, here we go. I'm either going to play... I mean, all the videos that I have in my Streamlabs are either bands I've been in, right? There's a bunch of Toilet Boys, Opulence videos. There's commercials, old TV commercials. These are copyright-free things that I can show. Jason, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, thank you very much. I also could play the Dragon's Lair. No, you know what I'm going to play? I don't play this too much, but this is hard to find. This is Toilet Boys in London, and there's bad stuff happens. This is from our video, Living Like a Millionaire. I'm going to play the video and then bounce. I got things to do, places to be. I love you all for coming in. I really do mean it. And I'll see you next week. It's winter. It's slow season, and I'm here. So let's do this. Let's do...
It's good to be here in LA too. Rocking and rolling for you. You having a good time so far, London? I can't hear you. You having a good time, London? I thought we were in London, boys. You having a good time, London? All right. right. All right. You ready to rock and roll? I said, are you ready to rock and roll? We're gonna take a rock and roll break for you right now. We'll be back when they put the fire out. Look, can you make your way out, please? The cables are on fire and the light's gonna go up. The fumes are toxic, so we just walk calmly to the exits and leave, please. Alright?